Coach, after watching the tape, are you generally satisfied with Saturday's performance?
Yeah, we did a lot of good things. Outside of the first drive on defense and the turnovers, it was a very successful day for all three phases.
Other than Stanley Havili, did any of the running backs distinguish themselves in the pecking order?
Well, I thought Allen did well again, but he fumbled. That's 2 games in a row, and so that's why you saw the limited carries. If he wouldn't have fumbled, he would have had a lot more opportunities.
There were a couple of miscommunications the last couple of weeks on routes and Barkley, and then 2 more on handoffs, running backs and quarterbacks going in opposite directions. To what can we attribute that to?
We just got to get better at it. You make mistakes and you try to limit those, and unfortunately Matt went the wrong way twice for whatever reason. He hadn't done that in practice all year long, so we just got to focus better and concentrate.
2 picks each of the last 2 weeks. What's your message to Matt this week?
Take care of the ball, same as it's been all along. The guy leads the nation in touchdown passes right now, but he's got to take care of the ball better and stop throwing interceptions, or it doesn't matter.
For the most part, you've come through the first 4 games healthy. Are you worried at all about the attrition on the defensive line, or you think those guys, it's just sort of nicks and they'll get better?
Well, no, I'm very worried about it. It's why we practice the way that we do. And the reason we sub the way we do, we don't have a lot of answers to go to, so we need those guys to be healthy in order for us to play really well.
Is there any reason that you've come up with why the defense can't seem to force fumbles? I think the only one you've gotten was the heel clip and the punt.
Yeah, for whatever, I don't know. There's a bunch of strip attempts in there. We're close. There was one that questionable that they didn't review that looked like on our tape should have been a fumble at Minnesota, so we just got to do a better job.
Are you impressed with Nicholas Roby's ability to have a short memory, which is important for a corner, but such a young guy? It's surprising, right?
Yeah, he's so confident. That's where that comes from. This kid's been through a lot. Dynamic personality, one of the neatest kids we've ever had. Anyone on our staff's been around. And so we've said that all through the recruiting process. When we first started recruiting him, he was committed to Georgia, and then changed to us at Tennessee, and then followed us here. This is a real special kid.
Are you worried about Joe Houston at all?
I'm not worried if he makes them from now on. How about that? I'm not as concerned as I normally would be if he was kicking the ball poorly, where it's not getting up or it's way off base. He's close, and so the ball is getting up, and we just got to stay with him.
The special team stats are dazzling, which goes to how much you guys have worked at it. Here's a good one that maybe no one's talking about. 0 punt return yards allowed this season. Obviously, you didn't even punt on Saturday, but that's a great stat, right?
It is, yeah. I've talked about it a lot with our team. That comes back from last year. I think we were playing. I was reading the stats. Maybe it was week 7, 8, or 9, or something like that. And Florida had given up 2 or 3 yards. And they were using this punt formation that we use, the shield, and and putting a bunch of their starters on it as well. And so, I said going into that off season, I was still at Tennessee. Next year we were going to go to that. We were going to put our starters on it because it was so important and go to this formation. And so, luckily, it's something that Coach Baxter had done last year for the first time at Fresno. So it's working well for us.
Okay, the $1 million question as we look at this week, what's it going to be like to coach against Steve Sarkisian, a guy that you spent so much time in the trenches with?
I don't really think it's relevant. This is about the players, and we need to play extremely well this week and play better at home. We've only been at home 1 time. We've played 3 road games, so we want to come back and play a lot better than we did last time at home.
Does it significantly change your week of preparation, knowing that you're going against a coaching staff that's so familiar with your packages?
Well, they do know us really well on both sides of the ball. The amount of hours spent together, whether it was myself and Sarkisian or Nick Holt and my dad at times, we're very familiar with each other. So we should probably got to be careful not to think about it too much and overanalyze it too much, and just make sure we're playing really fast.
Does Jake Locker concern you more as a runner or a thrower?
Both. I'm sure that they're going to come out and throw everything at us and probably run them more than they usually have, because I'm sure this is a really big game for them coming into L.A.
What did Nebraska do so well to shut them down? They really took them out of it.
Yeah, phenomenal rush up front, and Nebraska's really fast. They're going to shut a lot of people down. They're great on defense. They were last year, and even though they lost the D tackle last year, they're just as good this year.
Give us the lowdown, the scouting report on what you've seen from the other guys offensively and the Huskies defense.
Well, I think that they play extremely hard, all 3 phases of the game. They're really hitting people, playing really physical, really fast. Defensively, they come from all over the place. They blitz you a ton. A bunch of secondary pressure, so we're going to have our hands full. On the other side of the ball, you're going to have your hands full whenever you play Jake Locker, because here's a big quarterback who can throw the ball and run 4-4.
Has Sarkisian changed his system at all to fit Jake Locker, a mobile quarterback, or is he running pretty much the same principles that he was running here?
No, he's changed to his personnel a lot. He's much more of a spread guy now, and which is hard to deal with. It's very difficult to deal with that quarterback. And so it's the right move to make with that quarterback. And I would guess maybe he changes back a little bit next year after he's gone.
Nick Holt's scheme, is it in the same vein as your father's, as Pete Carroll's, or has he broken from the mold a little bit?
No, a lot of similarities, to what was done here before on defense, and so we're very familiar with it. We just got to make sure that we play really fast against it.
Do you use last year's loss as motivation?
Sure, yeah. They're better than us. They beat us last year, and so I've always said, until you beat somebody, they're better than you. And so this is going to be a big game and big opportunity for us. Competition
steps up a level this week. Are you confident that your guys are ready for it?
I hope so. We'll find out. We got to have a great week of practice, and we'll be as physical as we can this week in practice to get ready for a very physical game.
Will you talk to Sark at all this week?
Oh, I'm sure I will. He'll send some texts and messages that he's trying to get something, manipulate something to try to trick me into something. So he'll try it all this week.
Is it still a good friendship?
Yeah. Maybe he'll let our band play this year. Last year they didn't let our band play at Washington, so he'll think of something.
That's the difference maker?
Yeah, I guess so.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.